Out and About TV, travel, adventure, and RVs. Join Sharon and Tom each week as they travel America in a 30-foot trailer exploring and living the RV lifestyle. From trip and product reviews to RV show reports and an unfiltered look at life on the road. This is the show for you. Welcome.
Oh, hello. Hello there. I was just resting my eyes. It's time for another episode of Out and About TV with your favorite host, Tom McAuliffe. Good to have you with us. Travel, adventure, and RVs. Going to talk all about it this week. Good to have you with us. Oh, I was just resting my eyes. I was just thinking. Sleep is so important. It really is, and Americans and Westerners in particular are very sleep deprived, and that's especially important. Rest is especially important when you're going to get behind your tow vehicle and tow your rig down the road. So be thinking of that. Get some rest out there during those camping trips this summer. Next week, we'll have a visit to an RV nudist colony. Stay tuned. Talk a little bit about that. And we're also going to do a wonderful trip report on our trip to the Oregon coast, right above Northern California where you used to live. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. So buckle up, lots to get to, and away we go.
At Out and About TV, we've done the legwork for you, watching, analysing and curating the top RV YouTube channels that cover everything from trailers and fifth wheels to vans and mobile homes. Whether you're a full-time RVer, a weekend warrior, or just a RV curious wannabe, we will help you find the very best channels and provide some unique content of our own. These RV YouTubers have turned their passion into full-time careers, influencing the RV community and even shaping industry trends. Channels that entertain, educate, and inspire with hosts that have the heart of a teacher. Stop by and we will examine what these channels are covering. And it is more than just entertainment. Just consider Out and About your personal digital campfire for all things RV.
This week's YouTube RV channel spotlight shines on one of the most respected and informative DIY channels in the RV world, the RV Geeks. Hosted by longtime full-time RV heirs Peter Nyes and John Sullivan, the RV Geeks show has become a trusted resource for RV owners looking to better understand their rigs, maintain their equipment, and solve problems on the road. With more than 193,000 subscribers and millions of views, the channel has built a loyal following among both first-time campers and experienced full-timers. One thing that makes the RV Geeks different from a lot of the channels out there is the fact that Peter and John focus heavily on the practical side of RV ownership. A lot of RV YouTube channels focus primarily on travel, beautiful scenery, campground reviews, bucket list destinations, and drone shots. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But eventually, every camper discovers that owning an RV also means becoming part mechanic, part electrician, part plumber, and part troubleshooter. That's where channels like the RV Geeks really shine. Peter and John have been living the mobile lifestyle full-time since 2003, and over the years they've learned just about every lesson the hard way, so viewers don't have to. Their videos cover everything from battery systems and generators to sewer connections, water systems, tire safety, solar power, slide outs, winterizing, air conditioners, and troubleshooting electrical problems. And let's face it, modern RVs are becoming increasingly complicated. Today's rigs often include solar charging systems, lithium batteries, inverters, smart control panels, tank heaters, residential refrigerators, Wi-Fi systems, and advanced electronics. In some cases, a modern RV is almost like a small rolling smart home. It can all be a bit intimidating for new and veteran alike. And unfortunately, RV repairs ain't cheap anymore. Many rig owners are shocked to discover that even a relatively minor issue can cost hundreds, or sometimes thousands, of dollars at a repair shop or dealership. Worse yet, it's not unusual to wait weeks or even months for service appointments during busy travel seasons. That's one reason why so many travel trailer and motor coach owners have turned to YouTube channels like the RV Geeks. Their videos empower owners to handle many maintenance tasks themselves, often saving tons of time, lots of money, and severe frustration. Another thing viewers appreciate is the calm and professional way Peter and John explain things. They don't talk down to beginners, and they don't overcomplicate the process. Their tutorials are straightforward, logical, and easy to follow. Even if you're not especially mechanical, they make you feel like maybe, just maybe, you can tackle that repair yourself. And honestly, that's part of what the RV lifestyle has always been about: independence. There's a certain satisfaction that comes from understanding your rig, solving problems on the road, and becoming more self-reliant as a traveler. Channels like the RV Geeks help people gain that confidence. Their success online eventually led them to national television. In 2019, Peter and John made the leap from YouTube to broadcast TV as co-hosts and co-executive producers of the series The RVers. The show aired on networks and platforms including Discovery Channel, PBS, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Destination America, and others, helping introduce the RV lifestyle to an even broader audience. What's interesting is that Peter and John were really among the early pioneers of RV content creation online. Today, there are thousands of RV YouTube channels, but when the RV Geeks launched back in 2011, the RV YouTube world was still in its infancy. Back then, there weren't nearly as many creators documenting the lifestyle or teaching RV maintenance online. In many ways, they helped set the standard for quality RV educational content on YouTube. And despite their success, they've stayed remarkably grounded and approachable. Their focus has remained on helping fellow RVERs enjoy the lifestyle safely and confidently. One of the things we really appreciate here at AUT and About TV is creators who genuinely contribute something useful to the RV community. Anybody can point a camera at a campground, but teaching people how to safely maintain a rig, how to avoid costly mistakes, how to understand electrical systems or keep a coach operating properly, that provides real value. And in today's world where RV ownership continues to grow and rigs continue to become more complex, that knowledge is more important than ever. So if you're looking for a YouTube channel that combines experience, professionalism, practical know-how, and a genuine passion for RVing, be sure to check out the RV Geeks. Whether you're a weekend camper or a full-time traveler, there's a very good chance you'll learn something valuable. I'm Hope, and RV Geeks is in this week's YouTube RV channel spotlight here on Out and About TV.
Hey, every week, tune in. We're going to keep cataloging the best in RV channels on YouTube and tell you what they're all about and save you a little bit of time there. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
This is Sharon McAuliffe with Out and About TV, or as we also like to call it, Adventure Before Dementia. I just wanted to get on and talk a little bit about RV shows because we have been in the initial stages of looking at RVs, and I'm a planner and a researcher by nature, particularly when I'm making major purchases. And so Tom and I attended a major show in January of 2025 to get an overview of what might be out there, what brands we might be interested in delving deeper into. Tom had narrowed down to some specific brands that we wanted to take a look at. And so, that show went pretty well as a general overview of the RV market. So after that, we narrowed it down to 4 or 5 brands that we were going to focus on looking at, which had models containing the features that we were looking for and wanted to see. I had hoped to visit an RV show where I could see all of those brands and models, but this is where it kind of got tricky. First, the shows advertise the dealers that they are featuring as opposed to the brands and models. And the listings on the show website do not break down each dealer into what brands and models, brands that they will be displaying, much less the models. So that was a little frustrating for me because I wanted to make the most of a trip to the show. Most of them occur about a day's drive from where we live. So without those lists, I thought, okay, well, I'll call the dealers and ask them what brands and models they might be bringing and whether or not they'd be displaying those that we are interested in. However, the people that I spoke with at some of these dealerships really almost had no clue about what brands and models their dealership would be taking to that particular show. So as you can imagine, again, it was very frustrating to me not being able to pin that down. So it was impossible to know whether if we went to the time and expense of taking a trip, a day-long drive, staying overnight, seeing the show, and then probably staying overnight again before the day-long drive back home. Whether or not we were even going to be able to see the RVs that we were wanting to look at. So I don't know what our audience thinks of that, but it was just very frustrating to me. And so such a hit or miss kind of approach to putting together an RV show does not suit a person like me, who is very particular about going after information about major purchases like this. So anyways, that's just my little mini rant for today. And I hope everybody's having a great day, and that you're getting a little adventure in your life.
In this week's feature, we look at RV industry in crisis, why sales are falling, and what comes next. For years, the RV industry seemed unstoppable. Dealers couldn't keep trailers on the lot. Families were paying over MSRP. Campgrounds were packed shoulder to shoulder. And manufacturers in Indiana were building RVs as fast as humanly possible. And let's make sure we understand this. The RV industry is made in America, and it is huge. Let's just look at some of the numbers from a recent RVIA, the Industry Association study. There are more than 30,000 RV-related dealers and businesses in this country. RV manufacturing, sales, everything, $114 billion a year industry. And outdoor recreation and related industries accounts for 2.2% of GDP. It's huge. So when this industry has a hiccup, for years, the RV industry seemed unstoppable. And then reality hit after the worldwide pandemic. Today, the RV industry is facing one of the biggest slowdowns in years. Dealer inventories are at top levels. Interest rates remain high. Insurance costs are climbing. Campground prices are increasing. And many first-time buyers who rushed into RV ownership during COVID are now discovering that this lifestyle isn't really for them. And it's not cheap, and it's not easy. I often say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Being on the road, it's tough. And that's why we're so thankful to all of the RV content creators on YouTube. And that's why we highlight them every week, because of how much they share. They have the heart of a teacher. And that is just super, super important these days. Today, the RV industry is facing one of the biggest slowdowns in history. And it's not easy to really see a way out of this. So what happened? And more importantly, what happens next? Part of the problem is just pure economics. During COVID, Americans were desperate to travel and yet avoid airports and public transportation and crowds. RVs suddenly became a perfect solution. The industry exploded almost overnight. Manufacturers ramped up production at historic levels, put people behind a wrench that had no business being there. Some companies were producing trailers faster than they could properly inspect them. And that's where another problem began. A growing number of RV owners started reporting quality control issues, simple stuff, water leaks, electrical failures, poor assembly, slide out problems, appliances falling apart, certainly faster than they were supposed to or their warranty. Dealers became overwhelmed with warranty repair work, and some owners waited months for warranty service. I heard a story the other day, guy waited a year and a half. At the same time, prices skyrocketed. A travel trailer that might have sold for 30 grand just a few years earlier suddenly costs 50 or 60,000. Financing terms stretched longer and longer than the life of the RV, actually. Some RV loans now resemble mortgages more than vehicle loans. And then the interest rates climbed. And then we got into a needless war, and gas is now at $5 a gallon. But that's another thing. Suddenly, that dream trailer that came with a monthly payment that was reasonable, now when you got your monthly payment, it shocked you and your mom and everybody else. So we've got, fuel prices out of control, insurance premiums, camping fees are going up. Many families started to ask themselves some tough questions, like, can we afford this lifestyle? Can we even afford it as a vacation option? And the numbers suggest that many people are answering, not right now, especially when it comes to a purchase of a rig. The industry is in trouble. There's no doubt about it. But here's the important thing. This does not mean that RVing is dying. Far from it. In fact, in many ways, the industry is growing bigger than ever before. A recent study just came out and said that 63% of new RV buyers are under 30. The younger generation loves RVing and camping and being outdoors. So RVing is not dying, it's not going away. And in many ways, the industry is simply correcting itself after an unsustainable explosion. The demand during the pandemic was never likely to continue forever. And what we're seeing now may actually be a return to a more normal marketplace. There are several other factors involved here, one of which was the industry moving to a per piece business model of payment to its workers. In other words, we don't pay you by the hour. We pay you by how many units you get done. Consequently, they're not well motivated to build a quality product. They're motivated to build them fast. And they did. And this change can offer opportunities. For buyers, this may become one of the best times in years to buy a rig and negotiate aggressively. Dealers who once refused to budge on pricing may suddenly be far more flexible. Used inventory is increasing, and some manufacturers are offering incentives again, and financing promotions are also slowly returning. The slowdown is also forcing the industry to confront long-standing issues that it has ignored for many years, even before the boom, and certainly since. Consumers are demanding better quality, as well they should. I mean, when a person spends $50,000 and they travel across the state to go to a dealer to pick up their unit, and they find that the toilet has not been hooked up, I would have canceled the check and walked away right then. But the idea that a rig of that price point can leave the factory without a toilet hooked up, and then it missed the PDI inspection, the pre-delivery inspection at the dealership, inexcusable. Inexcusable. And I'm encouraging that individual to out that manufacturer and to out that dealer. I know I get accused of being a malcontent and a loudmouth and everything like that, and I don't care. But the reality is that the reason why bad behavior continues is that you don't call people on their bullshit. And those days are over. I just turned 70 and I don't care anymore. If I see somebody doing something rude in public, I'm going to call them out on it. Sorry. And if that makes me the heavy, I'm fine with that. So consumers are demanding better quality. They want stronger frames that won't flex. They want better insulation. They want improved wiring that won't burst into flames. They want a better fit and finish, more reliable components, safer suspension systems, lighter composite materials, smarter floor plans. Tell me, please, why there are only one or two, or I can count the number of floor plans on one hand that offer twin beds. When more and more seniors need that and want that, when CPAP usage is at an all-time high, when we have a restless leg syndrome epidemic, all of which means that spouses can't sleep with each other. So what do I have to do? I have to buy a trailer, even maybe a new one, and then rip the bed out and build two twin beds in there. And that would be, if anybody's listening, that would be a hell of a business model. Do like Saturn. One price for everybody, no negotiation, and you can build your own trailer. Here are the things I want. Here are the options. Check mark, boom, boom, boom. See you in 6 months. So consumers are demanding better quality, and they deserve it. Many RVers are also moving away from these gigantic 45 and 50-foot luxury rigs towards smaller, lighter, more efficient trailers. Hey, Elkhart, how about some aerodynamic trailers and more off-grid capable rigs, fiberglass trailers, adventure-oriented RVs, units that are easier to tow and less stressful to own. The future may not belong to the biggest RV on the lot. It may, and I believe it will, belong to the smartest one on the lot. Let's see some technology make its way into these rigs. We're also seeing technology start to begin to reshape the industry. Solar power is becoming much more common. Robotics is becoming, and machine vision is becoming more in use on assembly lines. Lithium batteries are replacing old lead acid systems. Composite construction, thank God, is slowly gaining traction. We talked about that in The Future of RVs a couple episodes ago. Suspension technology is also improving. Connectivity, remote monitoring systems, and alarm systems are becoming standard equipment instead of luxury add-ons. In many ways, the RV industry is going through growing pains. It's catching up to the automobile industry. The old business model, build fast, sell fast, repair later, may no longer work in a world where consumers are knowledgeable and are frankly more informed than ever before. That's one of the wonderful things about social media and the internet. Buyers watch YouTube reviews. When a company treats somebody bad, somebody like Liz Amazing comes to the rescue, and people know it. And baby, it's like Hawaii. You do somebody wrong now in the digital community, we know who you are. We know what you did. And I ain't gonna let you do it to me. So buyers watch and they talk to each other. They join online owner groups and they compare notes, and bad reputations travel very quickly online. The next few years could reshape the industry entirely. We're going to see much more aggressive inroads made by European style and European companies, as well as Asian companies and Asian influence. Some manufacturers may merge. Smaller companies may disappear. Others may reinvent themselves entirely. The companies that do survive may be the ones that focus on quality and end user satisfaction. They may be the only ones that survive. We need to focus on customer trust, innovation, long-term value, instead of simply pushing units out the door. And through it all, the dream of the open road still remains, still calling. Because despite all the challenges, RVing still offers something increasingly rare in modern life: freedom. I mean, I can only think of maybe 3 or 4 things: yachting, being in a sailboat, being able to chart your own course; aviation, flying your own plane. Yeah, freedom to travel, freedom to explore, freedom to unplug, and freedom to wake up beside an ocean, a mountain lake, a desert canyon, or a quiet forest. That dream ain't going away. I have it in a big way. Sharon will tell you. The industry may be struggling right now, but the lifestyle itself, that's bigger and better than ever, and much bigger than any sales numbers. And chances are America's love affair with the road and the outdoors is far from over. Americans traditionally love the outdoors. I think another factor that many longtime RV owners point to is this. Some, in fact most, of the industry's current problems are self-inflicted. Part of it is that the industry itself has a PR problem. Have mistakes been made? Yeah. But overall, once they get these things back to where they were, the RV industry offered some great value and wonderful opportunities for outdoor adventure. Over the years, many manufacturers shifted from slower, heavier construction methods using screws, bolts, and solid fastening systems, and then went towards faster assembly line production techniques, relying heavily on staples and glue and lightweight materials that cannot stand up to the rigors of the vibrations of the road. Now, to be fair, modern adhesives and composites can absolutely be part of good engineering when used correctly. The problem isn't necessarily the technology itself. It's what happens when speed and cost cutting begin to outweigh craftsmanship and quality control. And increasingly, consumers are noticing, and they're not going to put their money down on the table for subpar quality. Just not doing it. Let those rigs sit on those lots forever. Sell them to FEMA. And I'll just say something else personally. So I was negotiating with a dealer, a national brand dealer that everybody has heard of. And we got to within $1,500. And the dealer wouldn't budge. Let them sit there, man. Eventually, the monthly inventory charge and taxes and everything like that, you're going to wait around until it's worth 40% of what it was worth? Fine by me. Stories have become almost legendary in RV circles. Brand new rigs leaving the factory with plumbing leaks, loose wiring, unsealed roofs, slide outs that don't work, appliances that fail before the owner even reaches their first campground. There are documented cases of $50,000 trailers arriving at dealerships with toilets not even connected properly, as I've talked about. Think about that for a moment. If a customer buys a new automobile, they reasonably expect that the brakes are going to work. Yes, yet in the RV world, many buyers have almost come to expect dealer prep to include fixing factory mistakes. You got people buying brand new units and then taking them to like an Armor All, which we're going to cover, an Armor All flex sealant roof system for a brand new rig because they're afraid of water intrusion. The Luan and the other woods that you've used in these units are basic moisture time bombs. Many owners feel the frustration, and it doesn't stop with defects. They argue that when major problems are discovered, especially issues that clearly are tied to factory workmanship, manufacturers and component suppliers too often point the fingers at each other while the customer is left stuck in the middle holding the bag with a rig that they can't camp in. Just start taking these rigs and parking them on the lawn at Thor and Forest River and these other manufacturers. That's why I'm so adamant at supporting independent RV manufacturers. Yeah, you know who they are. Some owners report being forced to fight for coverage over problems they know should never have happened, and the unit should never have left the factory in the very first place. As a result, there's a growing conversation within the RV community, as well as within governmental circles, about more consumer protection and accountability. Many RV owners and even some dealers are openly calling for stronger lemon law protections, similar to what reshaped the automobile industry decades ago. The argument is simple. If consumers are spending these large amounts of money, comparable to buying a small home, then manufacturers should be held to a comparable standard of quality, safety, and warranty responsibility similar to the automobile industry. There has been discussions with lawmakers, and hopefully they will eventually step in. One thing is certain. Today's RV buyers are more informed, they're more connected, and they're far more vocal than they were 20 years ago. And in the age of YouTube, owner forums, and social media, bad quality control stories don't stay quiet for very long. I'm Tom McAuliffe for Out and About TV. Hey, it's time for this week's trip report. Let's take a trip down the Oregon Coast Highway. There are scenic drives, and then there's the Oregon Coast Highway. Stretching for more than 360 miles along the Pacific coast, this legendary roadway, officially part of U.S. Route 101, or the Pacific Coast Highway, may be one of the most beautiful coastal drives on the planet. Towering sea stacks rise from the surf like ancient stone monuments, waves crashing against cliffs wrapped in mist. Historic lighthouses stand guard over rocky coastlines. Fishing villages smell of salt air, cedar smoke, and fresh seafood. And around nearly every single curve, there's another postcard view waiting for you. The Oregon coast feels wild in a way that much of America no longer does. Unlike many coastal regions crowded with giant hotels and endless development, much of Oregon's shoreline remains remarkably accessible, protected, and untouched. Public beach access laws mean travelers can explore miles of coastline that still feel virgin. One of the most iconic stops along the route is Cannon Beach. Its famous haystack rock rises dramatically from the shoreline, standing more than 200 feet tall. During low tide, visitors can explore tidal pools filled with sea stars, anemones, small crabs. And while photographers line the beach waiting for the sunset, further south, the coastline becomes even more rugged. You'll encounter dramatic viewpoints overlooking crashing surf and jagged cliffs. Places like Cape Pernatuna offer some of the highest ocean viewpoints accessible by car on the West Coast. Nearby, Thor's Well appears to swallow seawater into the earth like a giant natural drain pipe during heavy surf. And then there are the lighthouses. And lighthouses are my favorite and my passion. And we're going to do a trip report. I did a tour of Michigan lighthouses. There are about 56 lighthouses in and around Michigan. So stay tuned for that. You know, the Oregon coast is home to some of the most beautiful lighthouses in America. I'm going to mispronounce this, but Yaquinta Head Lighthouse near Newport has stood since 1873 and remains the tallest lighthouse in Oregon. Hedda Head Lighthouse may be the most photographed lighthouse of them all, perched high above the Pacific like something out of a movie. And speaking of Newport, this charming coastal town is one of the true gems of the Oregon coast. Fishing boats unload fresh Dungeness crab right along the docks. Sea lions bark from the marina. Seafood restaurants serve chowder that is to die for. Halibut, oysters, salmon, and some of the freshest fish you'll ever eat. Fish was so fresh, it jumped off the table and smacked me around. This is the kind of trip where you don't rush. You slow down. You stop at roadside overlooks. You wander through tiny fishing villages. You watch storms roll across the Pacific from the warmth of an RV while rain taps gently against your window. And for RV travelers, the Oregon coast is a dream destination. There are excellent state parks all along the route, offering ocean views, beach access, forested campsites, and full RV hookups. Parks like Beverly Beach, South Beach, Harris Beach consistently rank among the best camping destinations in the country, not just in the state, in the whole country. Weather along the Oregon coast, of course, can change very quickly. One minute it's sunshine, the next it's fog drifting in off the Pacific. But honestly, the changing weather is kind of part of the magic. The coastline feels alive. If you don't like the weather, stick around for 5 minutes, it'll change. And unlike some destinations that disappoint after years and years of hype, the Oregon coast somehow exceeds your expectations. People talk about California all the time and Washington State and Wyoming and Montana, and somehow Oregon gets overlooked. It's not flashy. It's not artificial. It's simply beautiful. Oregon reminds travelers why road trips still matter, why slowing down matters, and why sometimes the journey itself becomes more memorable than any destination. Once you've driven it, chances are you'll understand why the Oregon Coast Highway is simply not to be missed and why RVers return here again and again. I'm Tom for Out and About TV. Next week, we'll have a visit to an RV nudist colony. Stay tuned. Hey, thanks a lot for coming by. I really appreciate it. So does Sharon. And we hope you enjoyed the show. Please tell your friends. Please send us an email. Let us know what you'd like to see on the show. If you got any questions, comments, suggestions, we would love to hear from you. Or send us a picture of your rig and we'll send you back one of our Adventure Before Dementia stickers, and we'll enter you into the monthly drawing for a t-shirt or one of our handy dandy ball caps. Yeah. So send us an email with that information and enter into the contest, and I hope you win. Make it a point to put it on your calendar every Saturday around noon as we look at adventure, travel, and RVs. On behalf of Sharon, I'm Tom. Thanks a lot for coming by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Get out there, see your old pal Mother Nature, and you make it a great day.
House.